Welcome, lovely people. Today I am playing on my PlayStation. We are on the US server, and we are here because we are continuing to look at my Spider-Man character that I've recently created for a live stream, but I have done like a bunch of styles on him, and now we're going to have a look at them because I don't know if some people may potentially want to copy these, and some of them are kind of fun. I had a really fun time doing these styles, so we're going to go through them one by one, and I have written down all of the style items so that we can have a nice look, and you can recreate this if you like. Now, I will say my Peter Parker style and my Miles Morales style of them just in their casual wear is a little subjective. They wear different clothing during those times, so I picked things that are a little familiar but aren't necessarily what they wear the most often, and I did try to keep their Spider-Man colors while they are in their casual wear a little bit also. So, as you can all see, this is my Peter Parker. Let's go through what he is wearing today, shall we? He is currently wearing the chest style, stylish streetwear jacket combo. He has it colored in red, then black, then white. His waist is the classic riveted. It is currently black, then white, then white. One of the reasons that I have made it black, then white is because it has a metallic texture on the swatches for the buckle and for the little rivets. And those, when colored white, have this sheen and do look metallic. So that's why I went with this. He is wearing jeans for his leg. The color is currently, all three swatches are blue, but I do believe these jeans are a single swatch. So I chose a blue that's not too bright, not as bright as what he normally wears as Spider-Man, because I wanted it to look like an actual denim, right? I didn't want it to look like it was a little too bright for denim, but I do like it. And the texture of the jeans is pretty fun. His feet are sneakers. The color swatching on those currently is blue, white, and black. The black swatch is barely visible. It's just where the shoelaces come out. It's a little tiny black circle, but I went with black for it anyway because I liked it better than having it as the blue or the white that's on there. His hair is currently forward. That is what it's called, the style. If we zoom right in, you can see. I did have a few different options for hair. You can kind of choose through a few different kinds because obviously different Peter Parkers have different hairstyles. But I felt like this was kind of a happy medium between some of the different hairstyles that I have seen for him, depending on different actors and different iterations, so I'm pretty happy with that. His skin is youthful. Now, I chose it because it looked just a little bit younger, more teenager-ish, and also, I know it's hard to believe with that facial expression, but it looked a little bit happier than the other skin, the human skin. And also, there's a cheerful one, right? There's a cheerful skin. It didn't look right, so here, hang on. So this is the cheerful skin. I felt like he was just a little bit too happy. So I went with youthful, which I feel makes it makes a little bit more sense. It looks a little more accurate for him. Now, on his chest, I did utilize an emblem that has nothing to do with Spider-Man. I wanted it to look like there was some kind of a graphic on his t-shirt because I felt it was a little more accurate. I am currently using the Enhanced Digital Sunset. The colors on it are black, red, and blue because I wanted the progression of the colors to match his jacket and his jeans. So it starts with the red at the top, goes to the blue at the bottom. The pinky color I thought originally was going to clash, but actually I ended up kind of liking it. So that's why I went with that. So if you're wanting to create this particular style of Peter Parker, which you by no means have to do, hopefully that was helpful and you won't have any problem knowing what pieces to put on him. And I will also request that future Laura, if you could please put the list of what he's wearing up on the screen for everybody to see.
I did that already, obviously.
Thank you.
I really don't need you to tell me how to do my job.
Okay, so this is my Peter Parker Spider-Man style. It's probably a little bit familiar to some people who were there during the live stream because this is what we finished on. I may have tweaked it a little bit, but let's go through what he is wearing. Okay, so his headpiece is the full slimline. It currently has the black neon composite chroma with the first swatch on red so that we can get that glowing neon swatch on the head. His eyes are, of course, the avatar of peace. You will notice those on very, very many of the builds that I have done. They are utilizing the black neon composite chroma 2 with white as the neon swatch. Let's zoom in on it. You can see that because I'm using the black one, we've got a black framing around the eyes, which is accurate for the Spider-Man style. I was originally going to do it in the blue composite, but when I looked it up, it turned out that it was actually black. So we went with that. Now, I will also say, if you are looking to do eyepieces and you don't have the Avatar of Peace eyepiece, two different pieces, Peace P-E-A-C-E and then Peace P-I-E-C-E. You can actually use some other pieces that work okay, not quite as well. There is the Catwoman headpiece, which if you have a very close look, it does have quite feminine eyes underneath there, but the shape is good, and this is with the chroma on too. Like, the chroma doesn't get rid of the eyes. The shape is quite good, and at a distance people wouldn't notice the eyes, but you might. Also, the strap around the head is not something we necessarily want to be seeing either. So you might want to put it as red around the outside. If you don't have either of those, then you can use bug goggles here. So let's just swap them over to a white one so you can see. These ones will not give you the awesome shape that the Avatar of Peace item does, but they give you the nice glow over the top of the eyes. They are a good alternative, and you can find them in character creation or from the vendor at the House of Legends. No, I apologize. The vendor in the Watchtower or in the Hall of Doom. His chest piece is T Slimline. It currently has the black neon composite chroma on number 1.
That is the blue neon composite chroma, and you think you need to tell me how to do my job?
And it is using the red swatch to get that red on his chest. If you look nice and close, you will be able to see that he has texture because of the composite chroma. So all of the blue on him has a texture. That is because I'm utilizing the composite chroma to get that texture on there, which I love. Thank you, Junior, for that suggestion. Absolutely love it. And it has caused me to also utilize the red and the black versions of the composite chroma on this character for some other builds that I'm a little bit excited about. His legs are the reverse slimline. They currently have the blue neon composite chroma 1 on there. It's so that we don't have any of the neon swatch. We're just taking that composite texture. His feet are 9th Tried Tyrant. He is currently wearing the blue neon composite chroma 1 with a red for the neon swatch, so that we get that really bright red on the boot. And then the peak at the front and at the back has the blue composite chroma piece on there, which looks... it's a little hard to see the texture of it, but the color certainly matches the rest of the style on my Spider-Man. The emblem I'm utilizing for this Spider-Man build is called the Red, actually it's the enhanced version. So it's the Enhanced Red Sun Wonder Woman emblem. You can do it in 2 ways. So currently I believe I have it red, black, red for the coloring, which gives a more defined gap between the sections that I'm kind of using as, you know, my pretend spider legs. I will show you what I mean. So here it is here, Enhanced Red Sun Wonder Woman. If we go here, oh no, I've got black, black, black. So this is black, black, black. I must have ended up choosing this, which gives it a more dense black color. If I was to make the top and the bottom one red, it should give me a little more of a definition between the legs. And the black one there is the one that changes the majority. So I want to keep that black, but as you can see, by swapping that over, I have more red around the legs of it, which I might actually keep now, because it looks a little bit more like spider legs when there's actually that gap. The reason I'm choosing red is so that it will match his chest color. If I chose another color, obviously that's going to stand out, and I don't want that. I want it to look like a black spider emblem. I'm also aware of the fact that a lot of people choose to use the enhanced scarab, so let's have a look at that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I don't like it quite as much as this, though a couple of the styles that I have done today do utilize it, and I will show you those and explain why. They just happened to suit those particular styles better for particular reasons to do with the chest piece that I use. But this is the Enhanced Scarab Exoskeleton, and it does a very nice spider shape as well. I do quite like it too. I just prefer the other one more so because it looks like the elongated body of the spider with longer legs, which is what I want for most of the styles that I have done today.
And you can also see, as she forgot to mention, that he has the slim blue aura.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is my Miles Morales casual style. I'm happy with it, but I do wish that we did have something in the game that gave me like a nice layered jacket. So what I wanted was like a t-shirt with an open hoodie with the hood down and then a jacket over the top of that, because that's what I've seen of him when he's in like casual clothes. And that's just not possible with the game currently. But I do quite like what I've chosen. His chest is the CCPD Forensic hoodie. I chose it because most of the hoodies that I chose, I couldn't put any chroma or material on without it eliminating the emblem on the front. And I mean, his father is a cop, so I thought a cop hoodie might be something he ended up with. I'm okay with that, and I wanted to have something that would give me a nice graphic on the front. I also utilized a chroma specifically to get a really dark, nice matte black, which is the Black Royal Chroma number 2, which allowed me to have the star on the front have that nice gold as well, which I really, really like. I can't say that this is the perfect style for him because he obviously wears a lot of different things, as does Peter Parker when they're in their casual gear, but it's just what I really, really liked and ended up going with for him. His legs are urban slick, which surprised me a little bit when I was going through the styles for him, because for the female characters, urban slick is a very, very different looking trouser, and I wasn't expecting these to look like jeans, but I'm really happy that they do. I don't currently have any chroma or material on them. They are just colored a very dark bluey gray because I didn't want them, again, I didn't want them to be so bright that it didn't look like actual denim. And I wanted them to look like just a little bit worn, you know, like he's had them for a while, especially because the black on that hoodie is extremely pristine. I didn't want the trousers to also be pristine and then look like he didn't actually wear these day to day, you know? His feet are sneakers. The color swatching on those is black, red, red. His hair is the short afro. I did play around with a few different styles for his hair. I really wanted to try and get an Into the Spider-Verse style, but that was not possible in this game. There's also iterations of him where he has a buzzed cut. I didn't like those either, so I went with the short afro, which I think suits him a little bit more, but obviously there are different choices that you can make for that. He has the human to skin, which I think really does suit him, but I think he just looks maybe a little more serious than I would like. When we circle back to his face, you'll see. I feel like he should look a little more fun. It's one of the problems I kind of have with this is it's a small problem, right? It's something we're not going to see very often. But with Peter Parker and with my Miles Morales, I would have liked them to look a little bit more comical, like jovial, not particularly with their stance, but with their facial expressions, so they don't look so serious all of the time. Even with the choice of the youthful, which I do like slightly better, it's still not quite what I was after. I do wish they had a youthful for different nationalities, though, because then I could have potentially tried it on this one, right, for Miles, but no, we don't have that. More variety would be nice, DC, just saying, with those things, please. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this build. He looks kind of cool. Oh, Future Laura, I forgot to say earlier about the slim blue aura on Spider-Man, if you could put that in, please. Thank you.
Once again, I have already done so.
That's my Miles Morales. I don't know how many of you have seen the live stream where I was creating Spider-Man, but I was excited to create Miles Morales as well. So now we're going to have a look at his spider style. Okay, this is my Miles Morales spider style. I played around with this for a very long time because I was trying to get red in the correct locations for particular styles that he has, which, incidentally, it's not quite right on this. The strap around the front of the thigh is not accurate. I didn't want it, but I couldn't find a better choice for the style that I was going for, so I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I'm sure there is a better way to go, but I just don't personally have that style for him today. But I don't know that I really want to change it either, because this particular chest and leg piece that go together have a beautiful texture when you zoom in on them. So let's just start at the top of the list, okay? My Miles Morales Spider-Man head is full slimline. He's currently wearing the Black Royal Chroma number 2, so that I get that really nice matte black from it. The face is once again the Avatar of Peace. I'm using the red composite neon chroma number 2 on that because I want the red around the eyes. I do realize it is quite a thin red and very, very difficult to see, particularly because I have an aura around him that kind of disguises it as well, because the red on that aura is quite bright, the red around his eyes not so much. But I still really like it. It is quite dark around Miles's face. He doesn't have quite as much color, so it didn't bother me. It was fine. Now, I don't know if you guys can see, but zoomed in there, do you see that texture across the chest there? It's got like a leatheriness to it, which I really love. There is also a texture down his shoulders here, which is actually a metal swatch, so let's go in and have a look. Hang on. Let's just change the color of it to white so you guys can see. So there's a swatch on here that has a high sheen that looks like metal. Both the chest piece and the leg piece are called metal paneled slimline, which means they have this metal paneling on it, which originally I wasn't a fan of. I didn't want to have that on there, but the second I turned it to black and I had this awesome texture, hang on, I'll show you on the legs as well. If we change the swatch over, you can see that it actually has it on the legs. It's not really visible once we turn it to black. And there's a lot of style pieces where you turn it to black and it looks grey. Not these. They look really, really black. The texture across the chest and the front of the legs there, I absolutely love that leatheriness to it. And he does have texture in his suit. And then the texture across the shoulders and down the side of the legs with the metallic I also really like. This ended up being something that I thought looked a little bit more well constructed than the Peter Parker style that I did, particularly because of the way it goes across the shoulders. See that stitching where the metal piece meets the leather and up the back of his neck? I really, really liked this. I thought it looked really, really cool. I will say, in order for this one to work, I did have to make his skin that dark black so that that tiny, tiny little gap, which hopefully you can't even see, between where his headpiece stops and his chest piece begins, there's like a little gap. Hopefully in there, all you see is black. And so you don't even notice. Like, someone would have to be standing right up against him, having it peer down his neck to be able to see it, right? It's just not very noticeable. I just noticed it because I was styling him at the time.
If you are wanting to do the V shape across his chest as per a different style of Miles Morales, I highly recommend the chevron, but there are multiple options of what you can choose.
Anyway, let's go through the rest of the items that he's wearing. His chest and legs, you already know, are the metal paneled slimline pieces. They are both colored in black, red, black, so that we get black on the leather swatch, black on the metal swatch, and then red on the little highlights going around. I specifically chose this style because I wanted to have that little bit of red on the hands and the feet, and I wanted the strips that go down underneath his armpits down his side, because it just made me laugh when they said that in the movie. What's happening? Are you bleeding from your armpits? It was a little bit funny, and so I wanted to keep that on my character, because then every time I bring him up, I'm gonna have a little bit of a smile and a chuckle and remember that. So that's why that is there. He is wearing the slim red aura. I did also miss out on saying slim blue aura for Peter Parker. Hopefully future Laura fixed that up for me.
Must I fix everything for you? I'm very busy over here, by the way.
But slim blue aura on the Peter Parker Spider-Man, and slim red aura on my Miles Morales Spider-Man. No, you don't necessarily have to use those. You don't have to have an aura at all if you don't want to. I just wanted the black to contrast with it. The red really makes that black pop, and it looks great. Like, I'm really, really happy with that. He just looks, so good. And he, once again, is also utilizing that Red Sun Wonder Woman emblem, which, again, you can color according to, like you can do for this one, triple red if you want, or if you want to get more defined legs, you want to do black, red, black, so that it's a little bit easier to see them. But, once again, you could also use the scarab, if you like. Let's go to the next one. I also wanted to say, for the Miles Morales builds, I changed around the loadouts just a little bit, because Miles as Spider-Man can turn invisible, and with gadgets you have the capability of doing so. So swapping between my Peter Parker Spider-Man and my Miles Morales Spider-Man is going to have a completely different loadout set that kind of adjusts to whatever their particular suits or combat style are. So I thought that was actually just a fun little point, and also thought I might mention it because if other people are doing something similar, making a Spider-Man where they can make different iterations of different versions, their loadout sets may have particular differences that you might want to input, and utilizing gadgets for that has been very helpful. Okay, so this is my 2099 Miguel Spider-Man version. I'm really happy with him too. You can see he has a lot of black composite on there. Let's go through his style. He is wearing for his head the full wings headpiece with the black composite neon chroma 2. Red, of course, for the neon swatch, so we get that nice glow. His face is the domino, utilizing the black composite neon chroma 3 with, once again, that red swatch for the neon. If we zoom right in, you can see that it gives us not 100% accurate pattern for Miguel's headpiece, but certainly closer than I thought I was going to get in this game. I'm really, really happy with it. I do wish I could get the eyes to be a little bit more accurate, but he has a lot more red and it looks a lot more sharp in his style, and I was so happy that I could get this. I really am. I just wish I could get the eyes working for me, but the fact that this mask goes over the top of this headpiece so smoothly, I love it. I do wish that around the neck I was able to get that also black, but with how close this got, I'm not upset about it. I will live with the red neck stripe. Okay, then his chest piece is called Angled Flexi Suit. It has the black composite neon chroma 3 on with, again, red in the neon swatch. I chose it because the pattern of it is something that's a little bit similar to what he has. It's not perfect. I just wanted to get the design to flow down in the big dip that it does on his style. Particularly, I've chosen a trouser that gives a little extra V shape, so you might be able to tell that that little V right at the bottom is not part of the chest piece. That's because I chose a leg piece that has that also. The legs are tertiary slimline, and the chroma that is on those is black composite neon chroma 2. Once again, red swatch, which I really, really like as well, because we get that little extra V right at the top of them, so that it looks like the design goes longer than his torso. Okay, the pieces that I used for his hands are called Beyond Enhanced High Tech. You don't necessarily need the enhanced for this though. I'm using the black composite neon chroma 3, once again with the red swatch. I did want to try and get something where I could get 2 longer blades. Also, I would have liked the blades to be completely red rather than framed with the black composite, but this is the closest that I could find with regard to something that I already had on PlayStation that gave me kind of the effect that I'm going for. I did want to make sure I only had 2 blades, as that's what he had, and I wanted to try and get the red on them, which I have. I do think they look really, really cool. They are a little less accurate than I would like, but we can't do much about that because I just don't have anything closer. Okay, his feet. This is a fun one for me to say. It's Ma Aleka Andra Hunter. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I'm not really sure what the pronunciation is on that one, but I'm utilizing the black composite neon chroma 2, once again, with the red swatch, which does provide the red that goes around the top of the boot there, and the red on the bottom of the shoe. The main part that I wanted was some kind of a red on his calf, which I did receive by putting these boots on. I was originally going through a whole bunch of different trousers to try and get the effect that I wanted. This is not exactly the pattern I was looking for, but when I found the tertiary trousers, I really wanted to utilize those to extend the length of the torso pattern, and these boots work well enough for me to be happy with the style. I do think if people saw this style out in game, they have a high probability of being able to guess which version of Spider-Man this actually is. Now, he also, as you can see, has an aura. I went with the slim black aura for Miguel. I wanted him to look a little dark and shadowy, and the versions of him that I know, he does tend to be quite serious and a little anti-hero-ish. But I do really think that it suits him as well. Having that nice black aura also means that the black composite aura looks a little bit more reflective, and the red pops a little bit better as well. Once again, I am utilizing the Red Sun Wonder Woman enhanced emblem there, and you can do the colors as I've discussed before. With all of them, the color that you want for a nice brighter one, or you can do a background color, main color, background color. In this case, it will be black, red, black, to get those legs to be more defined. I say legs, I don't think they're technically legs, but we're utilizing them as spider legs, okay? Let's go to the next one. Okay, so this one was by far the most complicated one to get as close as I could to correct. So I went off the movie version of the Indian Spider-Man, also known as Pav. His headpiece is masked wings. I have colored it red, then gray, then blue. The reason I'm using a gray is because I didn't use a lot of chromas on this one, at least not bright ones, and having a bright, stark white made the emblem and made the goggles look a little bit too bright. So it's a very pale gray. You could certainly use white for it, but I just found that it stood out too much and didn't look quite right when I did that. He is once again wearing the Avatar of Peace face piece there. I am utilizing the chroma for it as well so that we can get a little bit of a glow, though I will say it's a little less because of the gray. It is the Black Composite Neon Chroma 2. And again, with that, it's like an off-white gray. You can tell that it's not white. But when I did it white, it stood out too much. It didn't look quite right, unfortunately. So his headpiece also does not have any chroma on it. It's colored red, gray, blue to get that particular swatching, and man, am I happy with it. It's not exactly the kind of design that he has on his face, but it's as close as I could find on here, and I really think it looks cool, and it made me think of him. It also gives me the opportunity to have his hair out, which is what I want. Man, did I spend so much time playing around with the hair, can I tell you? It's so long. The shoulder pieces are called Traces in Time. I wish I could have something that was actually on the fabric rather than floating off of his shoulders, but this is the closest I could get. It does not have any chromas on it. It just has the last swatch as blue, which is the swatch that colors it, and blue is the color that it is meant to be according to the pictures that I was going off of. I do think I would prefer it in the gold, but I want it to be as accurate as possible, which is why it is in the blue. His chest piece is slimline. It only takes 2 swatches, the first and the second, so I have it red and then blue so that we can get that nice shape and the colors in the correct position. I did originally play around with using some of the composite chromas to be able to get a nice glow on his style, but with the amount of different little bits and pieces on his style, it did not work for us. The glow looked misplaced when I couldn't get a glow on something else to match, which is again why I used that grayish color instead of the white to get it to blend in with the rest of his clothes and not look like it was standing out too far. But I do think in the end it does look really good, and also by utilizing no chromas that glow, I was able to make the gold look really nice, which I'm very happy with because that is a material that I'm utilizing on all of the gold pieces on there. So I actually got a little bit lucky, right? I waited to make my Indian Spider-Man until after the Hopeful style came into the game because I was able to utilize the Hopeful hand pieces for this particular character, and I couldn't be happier with it. It's the first time I've thought the Hopeful style bracelets are actually useful for something. I love them on him. Like I didn't mind them. I thought they were kind of pretty. I thought they were something I might utilize on other characters just because it's a little bit different from other things we have in the game. The bangles are nice, but never did I think that I would be utilizing them to try and get as accurate a style as possible for an actual superhero besides Esperanza, and yet here we are. So I'm using obviously the Hopeful style for his hands, and I'm using the gold material. Now for anyone who doesn't know where you can get that, if you head straight over to the marketplace, they have a pack that gives you gold, silver, and bronze, and the gold one is the one I am utilizing. So let's just go here to styles. So here you can see it's called the Champions Material Pack, and it has the 3 different materials: gold material, silver material, bronze material. I'm using the gold. Actually, you can see it on him there, looking quite silver. That doesn't look good. That looks terrible. Also, but you can tell that his legs are colored blue, right? Because it didn't color those. And yet, because that is not a very glowy material, I wanted everything else to be not so glowy as well because I wanted the gold to stand out well enough. His waist is Runes of the Norsemen, and it is also utilizing that gold material on there. Now, I will say, you don't have to utilize the gold material. I wanted to get a really nice gold that had a bit of sheen to it on the pieces where the gold was supposed to be. And unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen on these pieces because the texture of the belt waist piece and the shoe rune piece is very different from the texture on the bangles. Now, it's similar to the shoulder pieces, right? That shoulder piece, the way that looks. That would have stood out and not looked quite right, not matched the gold around his wrists, and the yellow color that I've got on the skirt as well is supposed to be a similar color to it as well. I do think I have it a little bit too yellow now that I'm looking at it in a different light, so I might adjust that. But I wanted them all to match. So if you want to, you can color them a yellow color, but unfortunately that means you will get a glow on the belt and on the boots, but not on the Hopeful style bangles, which, I mean, you could potentially try and use like the composite neon or anything with a neon chroma and use that instead, but the problem is there are 3 different swatches for it. So trying to get all of them to glow is going to be difficult unless you have a material, which I do not. Well, I mean, I have a material. It's just not glowy. It's gold. So his legs are sun god. I ran out of colors because he should have a pale blue down on the middle panel of the loincloth, but unfortunately, because I've utilized a red, a gray, a yellow, and a blue, I couldn't do then another blue. So unfortunately, I can't put a blue there. I would really like it if they could add another color, or maybe two color channels, two more swatches for us so that we can adjust those and add them in. But at this stage, this is what we're stuck with. I originally wasn't going to go with this one because it is just the skirt and his legs were bare. But then I was like, if I make his legs blue, will it look like he's in the suit? And honestly, it worked great. I love that. So his skin is actually blue under here, which is kind of funny because I started out by making him look like himself. Like I gave him the right skin and the right tone and the hair, and then was like, okay, let's put the suit on, and then realized I had to turn him blue. So he's just a little bit blue. But if you don't think about it and just look at him, it looks like leggings, right? Right, just agree with me. The swatching for the leg piece is blue, yellow, blue, so that I could get that yellow color, which I did think I had close to the gold, but clearly I need to adjust it a little bit. His boots are runes of the ancients, and I'm utilizing that gold material to make it so that it matches his belt and his bangles, and I do really like them. I was trying to get the pattern to be on the trousers, but it wasn't going to happen with the options that I had. I needed the skirt more, so I think this kind of worked out well. I do think the runes make especially because on the belt and on the shoe pieces, I have a material on them that stops them from glowing. So they look a little less like they're sticking out from his body and a little more attached than the shoulder pieces that I have floating. Because unfortunately, when I color them blue, they still kind of glow. And I would like to try to make them look a little bit more matte, but I don't currently have a good way to do that. If I could, though, and still have them contrast enough with the shoulders to be visible, that's what I would have done, so that I was getting the nice blue pattern that he does have on his shoulders, but not glowing, because every time I had something glow on here, it just didn't work. They contrasted too much, which, I mean, if you look at him, the emblem on his chest and the shoulder pieces contrast a great deal to the rest of the style. I was trying to avoid having so many things contrast. He has the slim gold aura around him because I thought it kind of blended in with the gold, and it also made the blue and the red really pop, so I'm really, really happy with those. He has, once again, the enhanced Red Sun Wonder Woman in blue, then grey, then blue, and I'm so sorry it's grey. I wish it was white, but it's grey, so that I could get that nice defined legs of our spider. Now, his hair is the part that took me so long. I started out with, is it Godling Wonderpunk style? And then I was like, maybe just the spiked one will work because the Godling Wonderpunk one wasn't quite right with it like tucked behind an ear, even though his ear is underneath a mask. It wasn't happening. So then eventually I just went everywhere looking for different styles that I could grab. And I ended up in 31st Century, and I found the shocking fade hairstyle. I do understand that it should be more flowy and it should have more length, but getting one that spiked out into the correct direction was just, I was so happy. So, because the spiked hairstyle, like, spikes out both ways. And the Godling Wonderpunk one, even though it kind of has the flow that I was looking for, it's too long down his shoulders, it should be up, and also has a fringe that I didn't want there. This is the closest I can find, and I'm not upset about it. I mean, it does look really, really cool. I don't think anyone would be confused about why I chose it, and I think if anyone knows who Indian Spider-Man is, they will know that this is him, right? He's pretty good. This was the absolute most fiddly one to do, but I'm also kind of the most proud of it because it took a bit of effort and he looks so good. I'm so happy. All right, we should do the next one. Okay, so this version I had to do at the request of my brother, that little brother from AU. It is called the Last Stand Spider-Man style. It's not 100% accurate because there was no way I could find an appropriate jacket for it that would actually hold an emblem in the center. But it is the closest I could get, and I'm pretty sure people will easily be able to identify who I was aiming for with this. So he is wearing a full slimline headpiece with just the first swatch as red because the rest of the swatches don't really affect it. He, of course, has the Avatar of Peace face style on, and you can tell very easily that I am using a chroma on it, so we have that nice glow. It is the red composite neon chroma number 2 with white as the neon swatch so that it has a nice glow to it. He is wearing the chest Star Labs jacket. Its current swatching is red, then black, then black. I really, really love the nice turtleneck underneath there, and the style of the front, though not 100% accurate, it's very, very close. It looks really, really good. I was thinking, you know, if they had like a floating emblem that I could put at the front from the lanterns that I could color into something, that would kind of work if I could find something that looked kind of spidery, but as you all know, that did not work. It was just a thought, a fleeting thought that absolutely led nowhere. His hands are the DC Bombshell Harley. They only take one swatch, and that swatch is red, first swatch, and I feel like they are very accurate. And they are also a pair of my favorite gloves in the game, which I do believe you can purchase from the marketplace in a full set of gear for Bombshell Harley style. His legs are jeans. I made them just off black color so that they still look really, really solid black but have a little bit of texture showing, so that we could still see that it was kind of denim. But honestly, this is one of those items where if you do color it black, it comes out gray anyway. So in order to get it to look a solid black, you would probably have to use some kind of material or chroma for it. His feet are Psycho Jester, wearing black composite neon chroma 3 with red for the glowing swatch. Now, normally these would not work because they have 2 different swatches for each boot. So one boot is one swatch, the other boot is another. You'd have to do both colors, but because with the composite neon chromas, you get 2 swatches of the composite and 1 of neon, that means I can adjust it so that I get one of the 2 composites on one shoe, one of the other composites on the other shoe, and then the glowing swatch is on the, I guess you'd say the loopholes for the laces, I don't know, so that I could get a nice black on those. Because originally I had the bat metal ones on, but I didn't want the bat symbol on the side. You know, it doesn't make sense. But these worked out great once I played around with the composite chroma on those, and I think I'm very happy with those also. And then obviously he is not able to hold an emblem with this particular jacket. Very, very sad about that. I'm kind of hoping they added in at some point, because they have added some things like that, or one thing like that in recently without telling us, but I don't know that anyone's wearing this jacket, so it's probably not high on the agenda, you know what I mean? But I'm still really, really happy with this style. He has the slim red aura around him because it made the jeans and the boots pop a little bit better. It did look better for his top half if I had a black, but the jeans looked weird. So we went with slim red, and just in case anyone's wondering, I always use the slim ones. The other ones end up, I don't like them on my characters. It just seems like too much as I play them. But I have seen other people utilize them, and some people do a really good job picking and choosing. I've seen some really spectacular, like, ethereal builds with the larger auras that look really good. Let's go to the next one. So this is my Iron Spider design. His head is the classic full domino. It's wearing the red composite neon chroma number 3, which means that it's just taking up the red composite swatches. It's not utilizing any of the neon swatch at all. The face piece, once again, is Avatar of Peace. I'm utilizing the red composite neon chroma 2 with gold as the main swatch, or the neon swatch, so that you have that gold color on his eyes, which I really, really like. I don't know. I was playing around a lot. I had a lot of fun with this, guys. I had a lot of fun. The back is actually the Joker's punchline, which I'm sure a lot of people will recognize. Do keep in mind when you utilize this piece, the eyes will glow the color of your 3rd swatch in your styling list. So if we just go across one to the standard palette, this 3rd swatch across the top is the one that will affect the eye color of your back piece. So keep that in mind if you're going to utilize it. Remember where you need to put your swatching, just like when you do hard light shield on characters, first swatch is the color of your hard light shield. So you need to keep those in mind when you're kind of playing around with these things. Just like when you do the quintessential ponytails, you need to remember the eye color, color's part of her hair. There's just some weird swatching choices in there. Now, I do realize that the skull on the back does not make a whole lot of sense, is not 100% accurate, but I didn't really have any other choice for the tendril pieces that I wanted to utilize on him, and this is what we got. Pretty sure I should only really have 3 on an Iron Spider build, but I still love it, and we're sticking with it, because it still looks cool. I don't think people would be confused, right? I don't think so. His chest piece is Mystic Energy. It's currently utilizing the red composite neon chroma number 3 with gold as the neon swatch. I realize the pattern is a little odd, but I did want to try and get the length of the golden spider pattern that he has on this style on here somehow. So I swapped over to the scarab and put the red on the outline of the scarab so that we were able to still see a spider symbol, but still have that large gold pattern going over his body. I know it's not 100% accurate, but we can't be in this game 100% accurate for a Spider-Man style. We've got to get as close as we can. And I feel like this kind of emulates the length that that spider emblem is on that particular style. His hands are currently the enhanced quicksuit style. The color swatching is red, red, gold, so that I could get that gold band around the middle of his wrist. I did go through and try and find something where I could get the blaster in the palm of his hand. Unfortunately, because I have chosen martial arts on him, I couldn't use actual blasters to try and get it, which probably would solve the problem there to be able to get that. But I needed to pick a weapon and a movement that made the sense for the majority of my Spider-Men, and unfortunately blasters does not apply for that. Martial arts definitely does. So it's as close as I could get. It's a little bit off, but I still do think it looks very, very cool. And the glow on it is very nice. All of the golden glow on this I feel looks really, really good. I will also say that the Joker's punchline back piece, I'm using the gold material on that to get that gold. So I tried very hard to get my gold color that is on his style to match. It's a little more faded than a gold than I would normally use, but I still really, really like it, and I like the way it kind of matches the back piece there. His legs are the reverse slimline, currently using the red composite neon chroma number 3. Doesn't really matter what swatching you do for the neon section because we don't see it. We're just utilizing the composite section for that. His feet are enhanced quicksuit, just like his wrists or hands, and it is gold, gold, red on that, which is the opposite of what I did on the hands, because I want to get that gold piece across the front. I wanted the sparkle to match on the boots as it does on the wrists. I, again, realize this is not 100% accurate, but I think that if people see this, they will know what I was going for. I don't think it's confusing. It's just not as good as I would like it to be, but I still had great fun doing it, and again, as long as people know who I'm aiming for, that's fine. You know, it's fine. He does have the slim golden aura around him, and the enhanced scarab exoskeleton emblem on his chest is red, gold, red, so that we can get that little red outline around the outside, just because it defines the fact that there is a spider shape on his chest more than if I didn't do that. This looked absolutely wrong with the Red Sun Wonder Woman one, just because the shape of it kind of blurred in with the rest of the shape of the pattern on his chest piece, which is why I went with the scarab. It blends in better where the legs are positioned, goes with the design. I was much happier with this. So I don't know that anyone necessarily needs to know what I've done here in order to get a good Iron Spider build. I think there are probably people out there who could top me on this one pretty quickly, just because I don't have the pieces that would make him look 100% like Iron Spider, particularly because I haven't chosen blasters for him as well. I feel like that would make it a little better. So if you are looking to make Iron Spider, you could use this as a leaping off point, but you certainly don't need to stick to it. You can probably do better than this, but I myself am very happy with this, and I will utilize it in game. Let's go to the next one. I mean, you could tell I had fun doing this, right? Just a little bit of fun. I enjoyed myself so much, I'm not gonna lie. This was so much fun creating these guys. So this is obviously my Venom Spider version. So this would be not actual Venom, not actual Spider-Man, but if we had them, you know, if Venom infiltrated Spider-Man. Okay, so he is wearing the classic full domino headpiece. It has the black composite neon chroma number 2 on there with white for the glowing swatch so that I could get that eye shape much, much higher to be a little bit more like Venom actually has it. He has the face avatar of peace. What a surprise, right? It is the black composite neon chroma 2 also, once again, white for the neon swatch to get that glow. I do wish that I could have somehow eliminated the black line, but if I tried to do that, I ended up with no glow, and honestly, it was less cool with no glow. So I wanted to do this. I also really liked the texture of the composite on his style, so I wanted to keep that as much as possible. His back piece is once again the Joker's punchline, which you can recognize from the last one. Again, keep in mind, third swatch of your normal palette is the one that affects his eye color, so I obviously have black in there. The back piece is currently using the black composite neon chroma number 2 with black for the neon swatch. So where you can see that it's a little bit smoother, that is the neon swatch, but I colored it black. I didn't want white or any other color on that section. Wouldn't have looked quite as accurate. He is wearing on his chest the high collar piece. It has the black composite neon chroma number 3 with black for the neon swatch. You can actually see it if you look across his shoulders here in a V shape. That is where the neon swatch lies, but I have colored it black. I did find other ones where the pattern could be different to get still that composite chroma on him and have the neon swatch in other places, but I feel like that is the best one that hid it well enough that I didn't really notice it very much. And honestly, if I don't point it out, I'm thinking people may not notice it quite as much either. They probably won't be looking for it, right? We hope. We cross all our fingers and toes and hope no one is looking. So on his waist, I have the enhanced scarab exoskeleton, and I have just colored it white. It doesn't have a chroma or anything on it because it does have its own kind of electrical, static looking glow to it, which I really, really liked. And it covered up a little bit of, so if you guys know the high collar style, you notice that around the waist at the bottom there's just a little tiny bit of where that neon swatch actually falls. And I've colored it black. It makes it not very visible, but this hides it just a little bit better. And also draws the white down all the way to his boots, which I did prefer. When I removed it, it didn't look quite right. Particularly also when I had black composite on his legs, it looked too composite-y, which is weird because I used it for Miguel, right? I did composite all over for Miguel and he looked perfectly fine. But on this one, it looked like too much. I think because maybe he's got this aura that's going around him and the back piece, it was just a lot. So I tried to get a nice matte black on his legs and then broke it up with that white piece on his waist, which did end up working quite well. I do really like that. His legs are reverse slimline, and he's wearing the black royal chroma number 1, so that I could get that nice matte black on his legs, which I do love. I really, really do love that swatch. It's very, very nice. His feet are Ninth Tried Tyrant, wearing the black composite neon chroma number 2 with white for the neon swatch. Once again, I utilized these when I did my Spider-Man build. This is obviously supposed to be my Peter Parker Spider-Man who has been taken over by Venom, so I utilized the same boots so that I could get the effect that it's kind of the same bloke, and I really do like them. I think the little hints of white really do look good on him, especially because they do glow, and the fact that I didn't have to use a chroma to get a glow on that belt does make me a little bit happy, you know? We have for the aura the black ghostly miasma aura, which, can I just say, so happy with that one on him. He looks amazing. And the emblem again is enhanced red sun Wonder Woman. This one is black, then white, then black for the extra definition on those legs. But you can kind of see what I mean in regard to my Indian version. This is very, very bright white and glowing, and does stand out a lot. And on the style for him, it was not working. It was too bright. Turning it into the gray worked a lot better for that. It was a very small change, but enough that it made it not look so bad. Let's go to the next one. Now, this particular style was requested during my live stream. If I could remember who the request came from, I would tell you, but I don't remember. But thank you to whoever gave me this suggestion. So this is Cosmic Spider-Man. His head is the half slimline, using the white nebula chroma number 1 with the color swatching in a blue so that he has that nice blue glow around his head. His face is a little tricky to see. So I'm using the simplified ventilator using red composite neon chroma 3. The swatching I have currently on red, but it doesn't really matter because the face piece is a little tricky to see here, but it is like The actual design for this character has an open section on his mask that goes like this, and it shows the red spider web pattern that we're used to seeing on his standard style. So in order to try and get that emulated here, I'm utilizing the composite chroma on top of it to give it the red texture, and even though it is very, very dark, at this stage it is the closest that I can get. I will go into the style and show you what I mean here. So this is the piece I'm using to try and get that pattern on his mouth, right? And because there's not really a good way for me to get the colors to work on it so that it looks like the Spider-Man pattern and a nice solid red, it kind of comes out this metallic-y look, which is not what I'm after. So using that composite chroma is the only way that I could kind of get the right texture on it. I will say inside here it's dark, but there are locations like out in Metropolis where it is a bit brighter and it is quite a bit easier to see there. But I can't go running back and forward from Metropolis for this video because all of my armories are here, and that would take forever. Maybe later I'll do shorts where I spin, who knows? But that's what's currently on his face. If we could give it like a nice glowy one so you guys can actually see it that way. So this is the piece that's currently over his mouth. I do really wish that there was a way for me to get it a very bright red across both of its swatches, because it does have two. But at this stage, I don't have anything. And in order to get the pattern, the composite chroma is much more accurate. It's just a little dark. Now, on his back, I'm using Quick Suit. I just wanted to get a little bit of that power running around from his gauntlets, which they're not really gauntlets. What he does is he has like a golden floating atom symbol that comes at his hands when he's utilizing his powers. And unfortunately, this is the closest I could get. But I wanted to have something that made it look like power was flowing. And so I went with this back piece to get that look. I don't know that I'd call it 100% accurate, but I do really like it. His chest piece is called Pyramid Slimline. You can also try using Triangle Slimline, but it didn't quite work for where I wanted my swatching to go. And unfortunately, there is nothing that we can utilize in the game that I know of as yet where the shoulders don't have this white stripe as well, because what I wanted to do is just have the triangle piece up his stomach there and towards his chest, and then the entire rest of the top should just be the galaxy. Unfortunately, with this and with the triangle piece, I can't get that. It doesn't work. But this is the closest I could get. I am still really happy with it, and I'm pretty sure people are going to know who this is. I just had a thought. If I could use a headpiece that opens up his mouth section, maybe I could change his skin so that I get a brighter red and potentially pick one of the skins that has texture to it to kind of give the effect. That is something I did not consider until right now, so that might be something that I play with a little bit later. And if I can play with that a little bit later, that means that his mouth would be exposed and I wouldn't need this face piece anymore, which means I could put the Avatar of Peace eyepieces back on him. Just a thought, people. I have not tried it. I just thought of that now. I wish I thought of that sooner. His hands are currently the demonic runes. I used an orangey gold color to make them glow. I wanted something that looked accurate to the atom-shaped symbols that come at his hands when he's using his powers, and also wanted something that matched the back piece that I put on him, because I did put that back piece on first thinking, oh, that could work, let's see if we can find a piece for his hands that kind of goes with it to make the effect of the atom thing. Now, I will say, you don't have to have that at all. You can remove the back piece and the hand piece and have it look just as accurate, because he doesn't always have those going. You know, when he's just chilling, they're not there. But I wanted to see how close I could get, and then if people want them, great. This is an idea for use, and if you don't, great, don't use them. He also has reverse slimline for his legs. I'm currently using a white nebula chroma for it, but I'm not using the nebula section. I just wanted the white of the trousers to match the white on the chest, and for the chest piece, obviously, I had to use white nebula because that was the only way I was going to be able to get the galaxy pattern on his chest and on his head as well. He has the nebula aura, which I do really, really like on him. I think it looks really nice. The glow to it is great, and it extends the pattern that's on his chest out a little bit, which I find really cool. And I'm utilizing the Cosmic Boy emblem on his chest, which I have colored white. It's unfortunate that there wasn't a better way for me to be able to kind of emulate the dots and lines that he has across the chest and head on this particular style. I wish I could have found a better way. Maybe it warrants a little more fiddling around, but this emblem, I thought, does kind of hint at that. And not just because it's Cosmic Boy, but because it has a dot and lines. And it's the one that I could find that kind of looked like the pattern that I know is actually supposed to be on his chest. So even though I can't get this 100% accurate, it still does give me vibes of this character. I don't think anyone would be confused about who it is, but I do think that if I try to fiddle around with the headpiece and potentially have his mouth exposed and then use a skin to get the red, we might have a little bit better luck with making this work correctly. At this stage, though, we don't have time. So that might be a future thing that I fiddle around with, and if someone else works it out, well done you, please let me know. Let's go to the next one. So many of you know who Johnny Blaze is. He is someone I was introduced to through Multiverse's channel, and he was present during my live stream when I did create my Spider-Man character and suggested that I should perhaps, or rather insisted that I should perhaps create Spirit Spider. So for you, Johnny, I have done so. Currently, he has the headpiece skull. It is using the black composite neon chroma number 1 with white as the main swatch. That's what gives us the nice glow on his face and also the dark black over his mouth there, which I do quite like. I tried it without, you can certainly do it without, but I do like it more with the glow on it. But if you're interested in creating Spirit Spider, you certainly don't need to have any chroma or material to do this. You can just color it and it will work perfectly fine. His back piece is the Cloak of Eternities, the nice blue flowing cloak that I really wanted for him because he does kind of have like an aura of blue about him and I wanted to really get that on him. And originally I didn't have this aura, so I had this particular cloak on him, plus it's hard to see now because I do have the aura, but he has a regalia accessory on his head that I'll let you know about too. It is the Surging Regalia accessory. It's a little tricky to see because I added the aura after, but you can kind of see it at least at the front of his head there with a little bit of the flowing texture. I will say it does become more visible if we remove the chroma from his face. I will show you. Like this, but it does make the face look a little less cool, in my opinion, and I don't think it was worth it. I much preferred it when I had the chroma on him and his face looked a little bit cool, and it did make the regalia accessory a little less visible, but I don't mind. His chest is chevron slimline, which I have just colored with 3 white swatches, and his legs are reverse slimline, which I also have just colored with white swatching. So you honestly, you don't need a chroma or material to do this at all. You really don't. And the face is fine without a chroma. I just like it with one. You know, I like his face to look that little bit more dark in the black areas and a little more white in the light areas, and just it gives me a little bit more of a creepy sense, you know? The aura that I'm utilizing is called New Genesis Blaze Aura. I originally had this one, which is Blue Misty Stars, which you could also utilize, and you can see why I had the regalia accessory on his head with this, because it is very visible when I have the Blue Misty aura around him instead. It works a lot better, it's very easy to see, and then it guarantees that I get that blue fiery pattern above his head where I want it. But when I saw the New Genesis Blaze aura, can you blame me for switching? I mean, it's just perfect for him. I got very excited about it, and I love it. I think he just looks so perfect. He, of course, is utilizing the exact same emblem I've been using all the way through this video, which is the enhanced Red Sun Wonder Woman emblem, and it is currently colored white, black, white, so that we get those really nice definition on the legs, and I love him. I do think that the Surging Regalia accessory does become a little bit unnecessary as soon as I put this aura on, but I did want to tell people about it, because if you don't have this aura, you can utilize that piece instead and have it work, and you can utilize this back piece too and end up with like kind of the, hang on, why didn't it flow? There we go. With the flowy blue behind him, especially when you move, which I really do like. So you're welcome, Johnny Blaze. I hope you're very happy. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is one of my favorite ones that I've done. I love him so much. I will always have that as one of my standard armories, I think. This, for anyone who isn't aware, is Spider Noir. His head is Paranormal Wanderer Fedora, and he is using the Noir Comet Chroma number 3 for it. The face is once again Avatar of Peace. I'm using the black composite neon chroma number 2 with white for that glowing swatch so that I have his eyes like really standing out, which, you know, we need. And particularly I wanted it to be glow glowing because if you haven't worked it out yet, the reason he has a black face is because I had to make his skin black. So having a glowing piece on his face draws attention away from the fact that he doesn't have a mask on to do this style. I will say having the collar on the jacket and also this aura on him hides the fact that his skin is just black as well, but it's the only way that I could get both the fedora and the face piece to work for him. So he has the chest piece of bat metal using Noir Comic Chroma number 3. His hands are DC Bombshell Harley, also using Noir Comic Chroma number 3. His waist is Classic Riveted, which is also utilizing Noir Comic Chroma number 3. And I do really, really like the use of this for him. I mean, this is what this chroma was created for, right? Is to create kind of a noir character, which is what I've done, and has worked beautifully. I like the areas where the black falls and the areas where the like dot point black and white sections fall. I think they look really, really good, and it does allow me to put that main dark matte black swatch on the majority of his style, which is also what I wanted. His legs are reverse slimline using Noir Comic Chroma number 2, and his feet are bat metal using Noir Comic Chroma number 3. Now, out of everything I put on him, the boots are probably the most controversial choice. I was actually aiming to use the Psycho Jester boots because they do not have a bat symbol on the side of them, but when I did so, I had a couple of choices. Either I used them and I used the same chroma, which meant that one boot was very black and the other one was not, or I use a different chroma, didn't tie in very nicely, or I use no chroma, didn't tie in very nicely. So I went with the bat metal ones. The bat symbol is very, very difficult to see. It is hidden by the coat. I'm not really fussed about the fact that it's there because I can't see it. The aura that I'm using here also hides it very, very well. So the aura that I'm using is Black Merkian Reactive Aura, and honestly, I think it's working great. Like, it hides the bat symbol. Not only that, though, it gives like I don't know, a kind of a movement, a smokiness, and a darkness to him. I originally had the slim black aura on him, but this one worked so, so much better. Like, I love it. It's, I don't know. Something about him is so great. And then, as you guys already know, I do not have an emblem on him. It does not sit on this particular style, and besides, I don't know that I want it. I wanted him nice and dark, like the Noir Spider-Man that I know, and his skin has to be black, because he has no mask at all. If you look close, you can tell. But I will say, if you put on something, if you put eyepieces on that glow, it very much distracts from the fact that he does not have a mask on. And honestly, so does that aura. That aura is fantastic for hiding that thing, because the movement around his head is just so dark, and it makes it a lot less noticeable, which I love. So if I had to pick my favorites, this is my second favorite one that I created. I'm about to show you my first favorite. It's Spider-Punk! Oh my goodness, did I have so much fun with this. You remember how I said that Indian Spider-Man was the one that gave me the most trouble, like it was the most fiddly? This one comes second. This was the second most fiddly. Let's go through it. So this is Masked Domino for his headpiece. The reason I had to use Masked Domino is because, one, I wanted this peak above his eyes because the black around the eyes on this particular style for Spider-Man is much, much pointier and bigger, so I needed that for this. I also needed to have something where the head was exposed so that I could have the spikes on his head. That got a little bit tricky, and also had to do some stuff with the skin as well to try and get the skin and the face piece to match. It was very, very fiddly. I also obviously still have the Avatar of Peace face mask on him. So for the headpiece, I'm using Black Composite Neon Chroma number 1 with a very dark red for the neon swatch. And then for the Avatar of Peace face piece, I am utilizing the Red Composite Neon Chroma number 2 with, once again, I've done that same thing, with a very pale gray used for the neon swatch. Now, the reason I have done a gray is because when I had white on all of these chains and spikes, it was too bright. It didn't look right. So I had to dim it down again just to get the colors to work well on here and look a little more realistic. A very bright, stark white on here looked very, very wrong, particularly with this aura. The shoulder pieces I'm using are Bat Metal. They have the red composite neon chroma number 3 on there with grey for the neon swatch as well. The back. The back is, of course, the death metal guitar that I absolutely love. I don't have a chroma on that one. I've just colored it grey, then black, then blue. So I have all of that grey on the hardware. I put blue on the strings because I wanted a bit of contrast from the black and the grey, and from the red that we see it right next to on his shoulders and his head there. And then black for the rest of the guitar, just because accuracy. I didn't have this piece on PlayStation. I had to play through the entire storyline for Death Metal to be able to get it. Because I needed it for my Spider-Punk. Obvious, it's mandatory. It's just 100% necessary. You can't have Spider-Punk without the guitar. Okay? His chest piece is Punk Rocker. The color swatching on that is black, then blue, then gray, because having red on his chest looked wrong, black looked wrong, so I went with the blue, same color that I have on the back for the guitar. There was just a lot of red, black, and gray going on, and I wanted to try and break it up a little bit, because it was just a little bit too much. I feel like doing that with the chest piece totally worked for that, so that was alright. Then his hands are Enhanced Main Man, using the red composite neon chroma number 2 with grey for the neon swatch, so that we get that nice red like we do on the shoulders, and grey being utilized for all the chains and spikes, which I think looks really, really cool. Then his waist is the Enhanced Main Man style. No chroma on that one. I've simply colored it black, grey, black, so that the skull and all of the little bits of texture are grey and going to stand out. I needed something there to go with the chains that are on the trousers. I did do the trousers first, and this is just the best belt I feel for that. It also goes really well with a Spider-Punk style, I feel. His legs are, of course, Bat Metal, and they are colored black, then a very, very dark red, and then grey. Grey is for the chains that are coming around his waist. Then his feet are Psycho Jester, and I have utilized the red composite neon chroma number 3 with blue for the neon swatch on them. Once again, using one of the composite chromas on these boots works really well, because you've got 2 swatches of the composite, which means both of the boots can end up matching with the use of those. I chose blue because I originally did have the grey and it looked a little wrong, too bright on them, so I put it back to the blue. I'll show you guys what I mean. It just stood out a little too much for me, but at the same time didn't glow to the same extent as the rest of the style, and just looked a little weird. Like, the shoelaces are not very visible, it just looks like a weird pattern on the boot, so that's why I chose to make those blue. Then, of course, as you can see, he is using the Black Merkian Reactive Aura, the same one that I used for Noir, and I think it suits him so much as well, and it gives a little bit of a different effect with him, which I really like too. His hair is Metalhead, of course, and that was a little tricky to work in, because trying to get it so that we could see it while still having a very Spider-Man looking face took just a little bit of time. Now, his skin is glowing, and I have colored it a red color. Now, there was actually a little bit of a happy medium here. There was one swatching that I found that I could get on the skin and on the mask where the color was so close you could barely notice the difference. But it was so bright that it didn't match him. So I am aware that there is a difference in the texture and a difference in the color, but unless you're coming right up close to have a really good look at it, I don't notice it so much, especially when he's running around, right? He's busy like this. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to notice. And honestly, the fact that I could get him looking so cool and so, I don't know if I'd say accurate, but close to the vibe that I wanted makes me so happy. This is my favorite one I did. Like, doesn't he just look so cool? He's so cool. I love him. Okay. I have one more to show you. This is not a specific Spider-Man from any comic book, any movie, or anything else, but we're going to show you anyway. So, I took a little bit of creative liberty and kind of did, what if I created a cosmic Spider-Man that I liked the design of, and then I went a little bit crazy with it. I also didn't really have an opportunity with the styles I was doing to utilize the webbed style that we have in the game, and I wanted to find a way to use it. So I had one more armory left, and I was like, you know what, let's play around and see what I can do here. So this one I'm calling Purple Galaxy Spider-Man. because purple is important. So his head is the webbed flexi suit. You can see there that it's got like a web texture going around his head. It does go over the top. Oh, that going see-through doesn't help. Over the top and down the back. And I wanted it to be a little more subtle rather than very, very prominent, because when it's very, very prominent, it doesn't really look like Spider-Man so much anymore. When it's a little more subtle, it did. It just was a little bit too much, you know, because the Spider-Man texture that we have is much more close to the composite chroma that we have in game, rather than to this webbed design that they have given us in the game. So his head is webbed flexi suit using the black Nebula Chroma number 3 with purple for the color swatching, okay? Everything here will have purple for the color swatching when I'm utilizing that chroma, so that it has a nice purple glow to it, and goes with the aura, which is cosmic purple. I couldn't help myself, guys. I couldn't. The back piece is once again the Joker's punchline. I really, really loved the effect that I saw of it on my Venom Spider-Man style and on my Iron Spider style, and I thought I want to utilize it on him here. It looks so, so cool. I'm really, really happy with it. I also intentionally chose the purple color for his eyes. As you all know, I know where the color swatching lies. I could have done black, but I liked this. I thought it looked a little bit creepier, so I went with it. I feel like this would be a villain rather than a hero, if I'm being honest, but a lot of my heroes look like villains in the end. I don't know why. That's just how I function, apparently. I like the dark, creepy stuff a little bit more. His chest is once again the webbed flexi suit, utilizing the black Nebula Chroma number 3, purple for the neon swatch or the galaxy swatch. Legs are also webbed flexi suit with black Nebula Chroma number 3, purple again for the glowing galaxy swatch, and I just love it. I just love it. I think it looks so cool. I have, again, cosmic purple aura. I'm utilizing the accessory Mystical Regalia, so that he has that purple crown around on his head and a little bit of glow and movement, which I really did like as well. I think you could tell where I was having a time. Just a little bit of a time. Fun. I was having a fun time. Then I also am still keeping the emblem on his chest, Enhanced Red Sun Wonder Woman. I have it currently black, red, black, but I did originally do it purple, but it blended in too much. And honestly, Spider-Man has red. Every iteration of Spider-Man has red. So I put it as red, and I like him so much. I think he looks so cool. And I realize that no one is going to copy this style at all, but at the very least, if you don't have any composite chromas, or you don't have the webbed chroma, which I can collect if I want to on the EU server, I don't have it on US to show you guys, I'm so sorry, but you can kind of play around with the webbed flexi suit to get the head, the chest, and the legs, and maybe make something that looks Spider-Man-ish. You can use some different emblems to try and get him looking Spider-Man-ish, and I mean, this back piece is good fun. It's very spidery, even if it's not very accurate for our classic Spider-Man that we all know and love, the original Peter Parker. But it's still very cool, and I don't know, I enjoy creating things that are accurate to comic books and movies and things like that, but I also really enjoy creating things that are unique and a little bit my own and a bit of fun, and this was that. So, hopefully, this was helpful, entertaining, interesting. I mean, I had so much fun creating these characters. I absolutely love my Spider Noir and my Spider Punk and my Miles Morales and my Miguel and my Pav. I love them all. I had a lovely time. This was so, so much fun creating these styles. And I think my Spider-Man creation video has become really, really close to how happy I am with the different styles I did with my 7 of 9. So even though my 7 of 9 video is a bit older, and so it does go a little bit long with explaining things, I hadn't streamlined the way I spoke. I say that. I don't really streamline the way I speak now, do I? I just ramble on. But there was a lot of going through the style pieces with you, and I don't do that anymore. I find them and then I let you guys know. So even though that video is a bit of a longer and not exactly the way that I edit now kind of video, that style that I did for 7 of 9 and all the different iterations I created for her has definitely been my favorite character creation I've ever done until now. I am so, so happy with creating Spider-Man. This was the most fun. Who would have thought that my favorite character creation would have ended up being a male character after all the female characters that I create? This was great. I loved it. I love Spider-Man so much. He's so fun! So hopefully if you guys want to know how to create Spider-Man in an array of different styles and ways, hopefully this was helpful. And guys, if anyone works out how to get that face piece for Cosmic Spider to work better, let me know, because I might still fiddle around with that one. I was happy with how I had it, but I was out in Metropolis at the time, and we could see, like, it was light, so you could see it better. In here, you can't see it quite as well. But if anybody works out how to get Cosmic Spider looking a little bit more accurate than what I have done, please let me know. And I hope you all have a good one.